Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in our Omni-Channel oven today.
As we count down to 100, episode 95, all sets related to the dark side of the Force.
Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of Marketing Kitchen TV.
Welcome to our countdown of the 100th episode of Marketing Kitchen TV. I'm dedicating the next 6 episodes, dropping over the next 3 days, so that's 2 episodes per day, to LEGO Star Wars in honor of May the 4th. So on May the 4th, 2020 will be our 100th episode. And in the countdown to that, in these 6 episodes, I'm going to share with you my entire LEGO Star Wars collection. Well, the collection that's here in Singapore anyhow, because the other half of my collection is back in the United States. But I've got some very cool things to share. In our 95th episode, I'm going to share with you the dark side of the Force. So that's basically all of the sets related to the Clone Wars, the Empire, as well as the First Order. In episode 96, I'm going to share with you the gray side of the Force. And in the gray side of the Force, those are things like bounty hunters, things that you might find on Tatooine, or even in Cloud City. In episode 97, I want to share with you the light side of the Force. So those would be things like the Rebels, the Resistance, or the Republic. And you can expect to see my UCS Millennium Falcon with a customized interior. In episode 98, I'm going to share with you my Super Death Star. It's 2 UCS Death Stars mashed into one with, 5,000 additional bricks. It's 3 feet by almost 3 feet, so not a complete sphere, but I can't wait to share that with you. In episode 99, I'm going to share with you right here the Battle of Hoth game. This set was not released worldwide, so it's quite rare. So we're going to play that here in the Marketing Kitchen in episode 99. In our 100th episode, which will air on May the 4th, I'm going to share with you my minifigure collection. And in particular, I'm going to highlight all the troopers, because on May the 4th, it's also the final episode of the Clone Wars. So I'm going to share with you my clone troopers, my stormtroopers, my First Order troopers, and the template of them all, which was the prototype Boba Fett, Jango Fett, Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, you name it. So I'm really excited. So those are the next 6 episodes coming up in Marketing Kitchen TV. Episode 95, all sets related to the dark side of the Force.
This slide says it all with a tie, an AT, and a shuttle. That's basically the top 3 categories that we'll cover in this video, though there's a bunch of other dark side sets that don't fit into these 3. Like my favorite, the buildable planets. Here's a tie and a Star Destroyer. Or this Sith, whatever it is. Or this Sith Trooper, whatever it is. Here's a bit of the collection out in the open. But I said I was going to show you where it's hidden. So let's take a look inside one of these storytelling cabinets. And that's what it used to be, a hodgepodge. And then I took out the ruler, put in a glass shelf, and you ready?
The next segment is all about shuttles, and the Shuttle Tidarian, or the Imperial Shuttle, is my all-time favorite.
So here, if we open up the first cabinet under the settee that was designed specifically for my LEGO Star Wars sets. Some people would use these for shoes. I use them for LEGO. And on the top shelf there, we have all the shuttles with some ties and shuttles mixed in the back. And on the bottom, I have my tie collection. So let's take a look. We have Kylo Ren's shuttle in there. We have from the Freemakers to Kylo Ren's black shuttle. So the first is the prototype model, and there's his tie, Darth Vader's tie Advance. One from Star Wars Resistance, and the Sith Interceptor. I really love Imperial ships, and whether they're from, if you notice actually, primarily I don't have anything from the prequels. I really would like to get Emperor Palpatine shuttle, and I'd also like to get one of the Clone Trooper transport shuttles. So hopefully with the Clone Wars TV series. Those will become available. And here's some more shuttles actually, with the fold-out wings. Here's a comparison of the new versus the old shuttles that LEGO put out. I actually find the dark one to be smaller and, while more accurate, not as exciting as the prototype model. Just looking, of course, this was before I had a chance to build the latest of the Kylo Ren shuttles, just taking you through. I really like the one from the special edition from A New Hope. And there's the classic shuttle Tidarian, the one that came out after the UCS. Krennic's shuttle is great. I really like the one from Solo, A Star Wars Story. I actually have this here in this video because is it a shuttle or is it actually an AT? There is an AT in the name for it, so I'm not exactly sure. I decided to modify the classic shuttle to make it look a bit more film accurate because I was going to put this inside of my Super Death Star. So you see I modified the back engines, and I also modified the wings to resemble, or better appear anyway, what you would find in the model, this system set that is basically a downsized version of the UCS. But I don't know, I typically don't modify the ships, but I wanted to sort of reimagine what that classic shuttle would be before I put it into my Super Death Star. And in a future video, I'll tell you all about that. Again, just kind of looking at the overview of most of my shuttle collection there. I've really, this is probably my favorite of the storytelling cabinets, until we get to the next one. TIE Fighters. Whether it's old school or whether it's new school, LEGO Star Wars TIE Fighters. Wow! I really love this set from Star Wars Rebels. It's just fantastic. And then I've included it with a polybag TIE Advance there, the prototype. But really cool ship. And of course the UCS TIE Fighter that came out a couple of years ago. I really like this model, but I'm really not a fan of these oversized UCS sets. I know I'll get some criticism for that, but I'm really a fan of the system size. When you get to this size, they're just too big. All right, let's take a look inside the storytelling cabinet to really highlight the ties in particular. This was an older video. As you see that there are not as many ties in here as before. So I primarily have shuttles on the top and ties in the back. I really like the Sith Infiltrator and the one from Rogue One, which, I don't know, really reminds me of a Cylon Raider. So not included in there was this latest model that I'll show you here, which is the Sith Dorito. But anyway, here's all the ones from the sequel trilogy, and then going to really all of the black and grays, including one from Resistance, the Freemakers. It's pretty much all of them except for the Sith TIE Fighter, or the Dorito TIE Fighter, if you will. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I even like the 4 Plus model. I thought it was it's a good entry level tie. But see, the UCS one, while it is highly detailed, unless you were going to have a UCS of everything, there's just too many. There's just something about the Empire that I've always loved about Star Wars. Yes, Han Solo's my favorite character. If I had the choice of being a Jedi, I would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. But there's nothing like the good old vehicles of the Empire. Whether that's your traditional TIE Fighter, like this massive UCS TIE Fighter here, to a Junior's TIE Fighter. So going from one of the smallest that accommodates a minifigure, excluding microfighters, to one of the largest. And not included here are my mini polybag builds or my microfighters. I was just sort of putting out the system sets. Even if that's my customized Yoda Starfighter, but it has a TIE windshield, so I made it black. To me, it's a TIE Fighter. It's reminiscent, of course, to Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Anyway, I love all things TIE Fighters. One of the things I really loved about the prequels was how they re-envisioned some things. Like the Sith Infiltrator that Darth Maul had is clearly a TIE Interceptor / sort of Star Destroyer, right? It kind of has a bit of both in it. So to me, I love the Star Wars universe. I love all things Empire. And if with a little bit of explanation, I might love the First Order as well too. Maybe we'll see that in The Rise of Skywalker. I really enjoyed Kylo Ren's tie. This was fantastic in The Last Jedi. This was one of the highlights of the film, watching this come out. This is an amazing ship. And I recently did a video from Star Wars Resistance about Von Reg's tie. I really enjoyed this red one here. And you can watch my video about Star Wars Resistance right here. I encourage you to check that out. And while not a TIE Fighter, this can be found in the LEGO Freemakers series, but it's quite reminiscent of a TIE. And in fact, I swapped out the black window here for a TIE window because it just seemed appropriate to me. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool. This tie here was first introduced during The Force Awakens. And I enjoy the take of this, quite reminiscent of the old school one, but with some new school updating. And of course, there's some licensing reasons as to why these are same but different, but I'll save that for a different video. So honestly, which one of these is your favorite tie? Or of all the ties that we've looked at so far, or even other sets that I haven't covered, do you have a favorite? I didn't start collecting LEGO Star Wars sets until 2012. So if you notice, I don't have any of the older models. These are all from, and actually I didn't even start collecting system sets probably until about 2014 or 2015 or so. So I don't have any of the classic blue ties or the UCS tie Advanced are those. So this is you could call me a newer collector, if you will. But this is my collection thus far. A couple of standouts there. As I mentioned, I modified the one from Freemakers, but not a lot. I just added a tie windshield to it. because I thought it was appropriate. I took Yoda's Starfighter and I changed the wings from green to black, and I modified a couple of other, even the blasters I changed to red. Here's the Sith Infiltrator, one of my favorite ties. I like this poly bag of the TIE Advanced prototype. I think it fits in well with the transport. Here's a microfighter. I really like I don't care for microfighters generally, but I don't mind the ties. Here is Darth Vader's TIE Advanced from Darth Vader's castle on the left. And then on the right is from the original Death Star playset. If you notice the scale, they really did a much better job than the newer model. And speaking of Death Stars, let's take a look at some TIE Fighters inside of my Death Star. This is where I have pretty much all of the poly bags and microfighters and even some of the ones from the Lego magazine, all in this double-size hangar in my Super Death Star. Here I just take you another view of it here.
The next segment is all about AT-ATs, AT-STs, AT-RTs, AT-DP, it doesn't matter. Anything with an AT in front of it.
Going to the middle section of our set tag and our storytelling cases here. Here we have from Force Awakens. Again, not seen in the film. Here's from Rogue One. I guess this is an AT, right? It's a tank transporter of some kind. I love that, it reminds me of Kenner. But let's talk about all ATs here, whether it's an action battle set, whether it's a poly bag from the Lego magazine, or a gift with purchase, microfighter, battle pack, or these system sets. I love anything with an AT in front of it. And so here's just some of the chicken walkers, right? So the two-legged ones. Boy, what a disaster that set is on the right. I cannot believe they didn't include a head on that AT for the First Order version from The Last Jedi. I really love the one from Rebels on the far left, and of course the one from Rogue One, as well as the one from The Mandalorian. Here's another microfighter. Here's a collection of just random hodgepodge of all of my ATs, even from the prequels. All shapes, all sizes. I even love the one in the middle that was actually only seen for a split second in The Last Jedi. I think those are really cool. If you're looking for sets that have value, look for the sets that come out for the animated series, and then also things that were based on concept art that really don't, in other words, they'll never make another version of that one in the middle. So it's sort of a one and done. So that means it's going to be worth some money. And then we've got a new AT coming up soon, and then another AT-AT coming up for the 40th anniversary, which is quite similar to one that came out a couple of years ago. All right, going into our next box, which is actually, I teased you because I only opened up one side of it in the last segment when I was showing off the AT-ATs, is showing you in this cabinet is where I have all of my ATs. And have you noticed there was the train from Solo? I did a double size of that, so I bought two of those models and put it together just to make it a bit more authentic, as well as all the Star Destroyers. This would probably be my second favorite of the boxes, as I mentioned. But again, just sort of showing off the AT collection here on the left-hand side. I I've been thinking about putting a black line on the conveyance train, because actually in that circular portion there, they have one, and we're making it reminiscent of an AT. Here's the Star Destroyer that came out recently. I love the micro build in the back. I think that is quite accurate and well detailed. We've got Snoke's throne room in there with 2 of the battle packs. And then of course the First Order Star Destroyer. I think that's fantastic. We haven't seen the Snoke's ship yet. Is that one called the Finalizer? I don't remember. I care not to remember much about the sequel trilogy. But look at that. This is one of my favorite, maybe second favorite box. Until we get to the third one, and then I'll say that that's my favorite too. All right, let's take a look, and even the small speeders there from the battle pack. I love that walker from The Last Jedi though, the Gorilla Walker.
Star Destroyers. So whether that be old school or whether that be new school, we got a lot of Star Destroyers in the house.
From the Lego magazine, here's a Microfighter one, not so good. This is the one from the Lego magazine, well detailed. I really like that one. This one was probably one of the best of the mini builds. Here's my Star Destroyer collection, micro-sized with 2 of the larger ones. I don't yet have the Super Star Destroyer, nor will I probably ever get that. I lost my chance at getting that when it was at retail. There's no way I'm going to spend the money for that Darth Vader Super Star Destroyer is going for these days. And also, the thing is just so long. Again, I love the detail of UCS sets, but what do you do with them? I really, if Lego continues to make system sets with greebling, which they've been doing lately, especially here with the First Order Star Destroyer, the detail is just so good. There's not a need for a UCS. I really love the Venator. I would love to get a system size of that. I'm hopeful that Lego will make another version of it, and if they don't, then I'm going to have to find one on eBay. The one that you've probably never seen before there that I sort of focused in the middle right now, that was actually the Microfighter one, and I customized it. It just was too boxy for me to be a Star Destroyer. So again, I don't usually mock out the ships because I like to remain true to the Lego design. If I'm going to build a mock, I like to sort of build that from scratch, not take somebody else's idea and tweak it. But there's pretty much my Star Destroyer collection as of the time of my filming that video. Again, I really hope they'll come out with a new Venator, because I'd love to add that at the system size to those 2 that I have. There hasn't been, actually I think the best Tantive 5 to come out would have been the one that came with the buildable planets, and I made the mistake of not buying that. But that one is from the Advent calendar, so just showing the chase there. And then this was a mini build in store at Lego Retail. It's just one of those sign up for build days. So just 2 different versions of that there, and then comparing it with the one from the Advent calendar. That one is more in scale with the system size set. But if you want to have something more in scale and more in detail, then look at this baby. This is just, this UCS Star Destroyer that came out last year. I love it. Here's where I became famous on YouTube, and that would be because of M&R Productions.
see a Star Destroyer, you have a lot of huge giant plates and panels and things like that. There is some greebling like in here, but there's not a ton of greebling like you see on like the UCS Millennium Falcon. I feel like people are really blowing this out of proportion.
Right there.
I don't understand why so many people are upset about this particular set costing so much. The other thing about this to me that's really fascinating is all these people are saying they're not going to buy this set and that it's a huge giant ripoff, but we have not even seen the set yet. That is blowing my mind.
With all due respect to M&R Productions, I have seen the set now, and I still think $700 is a ripoff. It's a fantastic set, but I don't know, $700. Lego, $600, and I'll buy, so I'm waiting. All right, back to the box here just to say goodbye to the sets. See you later, Star Destroyers. That one's a beauty. My most popular YouTube video to date was actually on Snoke's Throne Room, talking about combining Snoke's Throne Room with the Battle Pack, and at the time I only had one, and I suggested that one should buy two. Now that I have two, I'm thinking maybe I should do another video on that. But we'll close the door to the discussion on Star Destroyers, and let me give you a preview of what's coming up in some upcoming episodes. I'll be taking you into not the next episode, but the one after that. I'll be taking you to the light side of the Force, where I will show off some of my ways of creatively shoving in as many Rebel and Resistance ships as possible into a single cabinet space. By use of, there's a store here in Asia called Muji, and I know they've also been recently opening up some stores in the US, but they're from Japan, and they have these wonderful bases here that I use to help display the sets on. So in an upcoming video, I'll be talking about my Rebel series with you. In the next video, I'll be taking you over to this side of the marketing kitchen, back over to this cabinet here, where I'll be sharing with you the gray side of the Force. And so the gray side of the Force, what is that? Those are things like Jabba's Palace, Slave One, Bounty Hunters. In the episode after that, however, so after the Rebel one, I'll be giving you a tour of my Super Death Star. So that'll be coming up in episode number 98. And I've been teasing this because that's sort of that's the biggest, other than the UCS Millennium Falcon, this is the biggest thing in the house. And it probably outdoes that by about 5,000 bricks.
Once again, may the 4th be with you. I hope you've enjoyed our countdown to Star Wars Day, as well as our countdown to the 100th episode of Marketing Kitchen TV. I hope you have enjoyed or are enjoying these 6 episodes that we're airing, showing off my Lego Star Wars collection here in Singapore. One day, I hope to be able to unite the US collection and the Singapore collection in one location. So where that'll be, I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll be close to a Disney theme park somewhere on the globe. All right, that's it for today. I appreciate it if you would give us a like, if you'd subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and most of all, please offer a comment below. I would love to hear what content you would like to see on Marketing Kitchen TV in the weeks, months, years to come. If there's a specific set or topic or whatever it is that you'd like me to highlight, you let me know and I'll work on that for you. All right. The galaxy, the universe, our own planet can be a bit challenging at times. So may the Force be with you and keep safe out there.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this marketing kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV. And yeah, that's all I have to say. All right, good. That's all I needed to do.